No. My mother was the brown cow in a family of white mice. No matter how hard you tried to dress her up, people would know that she was different. My mother was a fish out of water, a penguin in the Sahara, and a unicorn on the ark. My mother was a woman before her time. She used her little grey cells and brought forth questions of unworthiness into her household. She thought of things that shouldn't have been thought or questioned until a decade had passed, but, she still questioned. Who, what, where, when, but hush, they would say to Mother. There's no need. If we don't talk about it, it won't exist, and we don't want those things to exist, do we? Zipped up tight, their metallic fingers locking in place, her mind being crammed into a jam jar, too small for her imagination. Broken free, glass shards and splintering fingers flew free and far, and so did my mother's mind. My mother didn't run away from home, but she didn't walk either. Her hopes and fears were free, like mine are today. Like mother, like daughter, like all my friends and all hers. Our openness unites us, and united them. They strove together on equal terms. They bamboozled their world with protests of medical morality. My mother spent hours upon hours peering into the failing minds of the ancient OAPs, trying to figure out what made their ticking stop ticking in time. They were like broken clocks, and my mother didn't dare repair them. She only aimed to make them more comfortable. Comfort was, and still is, key to my mother. Now with the wind running through her hair, she feels freer to grow up in her own world. Now grown, my mother fell in love through the hands of fate and coincidence. Different pub, different night, different people, new person. My father. She was happy and comfortable. She was still a brown cow, but the white mice had fled, and she longed for it to remain that way. If we don't talk about it, it eats away at us. The squeaking almost echoes to this day. Her ears ringing with what she left behind, but like my mother always says, look forward to the future, as you can't change the past. She would keep that in mind as she met patient after patient. Their heads and hearts would open up to her. The last porcelain Russian ballerinas and boxes now slowly ticking, and slowly, ever so slowly, my mother would help them stop. Like me, my mother's love for her man never directly changed her, only enhanced her. My mother raised her children on imagination, discussion, and bedtime stories. Just how I plan on raising mine, if I never have any. She clothed her dear daughters in patchwork jackets, purple dungarees, and red hedgerow boots. Red is still my favourite colour to this day. And before they went to sleep, she would tell those girls she loved them. And I still love her too. It wasn't until I grew in my own skin that I realised my mother felt the need to remind us daily, because she never got that memo. Post-it after paper aeroplane, clean your room, do your work, how do you clean the kitchen, don't be late back. Squeaking and scuttling, the piles of paper would form, hardly ever containing the pale pink scraps of I love you. And since filing, my mother is a younger, smaller, scared thing, questioned parental love like it was a maths exam, a subject we still struggle with slightly today. In questions, she found answers. In the closed spell, she found grey cells that led to the ticking of a slow grandfather clock and was prepared, like a soldier into battle, armed to the teeth with tissues and waterproof mascara. My mother was prepared for that ticking to stop. Blessed with parental love, I don't hear squeaks when I return to the north, only the gentle mooing of my brown cow family. As a direct descendant of woman before her time, I look back on my mother's teachings to find myself hidden among the lessons. Bedtime stories made me want to become the writer and the main character. Discussions on religion and growing up made me realise that as wonderful as this world is, it is flawed and drastically needs improving. Imagination introduced me to the concept that I never need a car when I have my cardboard box / time machine. And my mother made me realise that instead of waiting in a tower for my Prince Charming, I can get the hell out of there, tame the dragon and find an adventure. And hey, instead of the prince, who knows, I might move to blacksmith instead. In a world of ticking clocks, my mother sees me, silently, like a book. And like a book, I willingly open, though I shut my eyes tight, not daring to peek, because I don't want disappointment to flutter the pages. I don't want the story not to grab her for it to be forgotten, for the legend and the lesson to be lost among boring subplots. Like my mother, I entered adulthood without a clue where to go or what to do. She's the go-to gal in the parental world, and she will go to the ends of the earth to make sure happiness is a prominent role in our lives. Yet she's human, and like me, screws up on occasion. I have a problem, I talk about it. Something she can do about it. My problem exists, and saying it doesn't make the monster mightier than me. I cannot comprehend how my mother remained sane with her thoughts and worries and dreams bottled up for 17 years, because they didn't exist until she spoke about them. And once I've grown, and fallen head over heels into like and love and marriage and childbirth, I will raise those children pretty much in the same way. I let them know I'm here. I won't be going anywhere because my mother never did, but if I ever do, I plan on taking them with me. I won't judge them on a piercing or a potential tattoo because my mother never did. I won't tell them to be silent when spoken to, only to never receive an invitation to use their voice. I'll tell my hypothetical children it's all right to talk. Let it all out. Who knows what could happen if you don't? I'll make sure my children will never have to file away the things I say, only to hope to count up the times I grace them with I love you. And at the end of a very tiring day, like my mother once had, I'll think about my mother as a white mouse. Small thoughts and dreams and smaller offspring would follow. She'll be completely different, never wanting to leave her hole in the wall, never wanting to explore the ticking of a clock and only feel sorry when she hears it stop. She would never want more from the life that she had. It would be then that I send her a message, via text or carrier pigeon, that I don't regret a single decision she made. And that she, my mother, is brilliant, just the way she is. Thank you.